but let's go ahead and jump in to the lesson of the week. And I was thinking about, I'm always constantly studying and researching the power of beliefs. And the challenge with beliefs is that we have so many of them. We have big beliefs, small beliefs. We have beliefs that we are very influential, meaning we can be influenced to change those beliefs. We all have beliefs that we would die for as well. And so what is really helpful to me is over the years, like going in and looking at words that we typically commonly use, and I'll start to reconfigure the definitions so that they make sense to me. And so I did that with the word belief, and this is what I came up with. Beliefs are feelings of fact that shape our perceptions and personal realities. Beliefs are feelings of fact that shape our perceptions and personal realities. Now, the reason that I call it a feeling of fact is that are all your beliefs true? And the answer is no, they are not. And so one of the questions that I'll ask people is, let's say that you live in the state of Oklahoma. And if you think about a belief as it exists on a continuum, let's just say from 0 to 10, on one end of that is resolute certainty. So if you are a level 10 around that belief, you are resolutely certain in its what we would consider to be factual, right? And so if I asked you, are you in the state or do you live in the state of Oklahoma? For those of you that live there, you would be resolutely certain around that. Now, another thing is, a good question to ask, do you believe in aliens? And some people are very certain that they believe in aliens. For most of us, I mean, there's been some information that's been released over the last 30 to 60 days. It's weird. But for most of us, we probably aren't going to be resolutely certain, right? Like you wouldn't put your money on the line. You wouldn't put your life on the line for that. Out of a scale of 0 to 10, for some of you, that might be a 4, right? So I want you to understand that beliefs exist on a continuum. Some of them you are resolutely certain. Others, you are absolutely in doubt, right? Like those are the things that are 0. Now, the thing that I say about how it shapes our perceptions and personal realities is that most of your behavior is the result of a belief. Most of your behavior is a result of a belief. Now, one of the jokes that I like to play on my wife, because my wife has a very loose relationship with time. So like when we leave somewhere or we're leaving somewhere, like we're at her friend's house or some social thing, and I'm always trying to get out of there, right? But when she comes up to me and says things like, okay, we're going to leave in 5 minutes, I will always counter that or ask, is that an actual 5 minutes or is that a football 5 minutes? Because if many of you know, at the end of a game, a football 5 minutes, shit, that can take 30 minutes, right? And so I always like to ask that. But one of the jokes that I play on her regularly is she'll ask me, what time is it? And I'll say, like, it's 8:30. And so she'll say, oh God, we're running late, right? We got to be there by 9. And it's really not 8:30. It might be 8 o'clock. Now, when she believes that it is 8:30 and we have to be there by 9, right? Her actions change, her behavior changes, and she gets into a hurry. And so that is just an example, one small example of how your beliefs influence behavior. You are always acting in accordance with what you believe to be true. Now, out of all of the beliefs, as I mentioned, many of you, all of us, we have hundreds, if not thousands of beliefs. The one that I have found that makes the biggest difference is who you think you are. In fact, many of you have had that question posed to you, oftentimes in a negative light. Who do you think you are? Right? And so when you think about it, though, and you take out all the emotional charge of that, it's a really great question. Who do you think you are? And what we call that is your identity. Your identity. Now, I have 4 quotes that I absolutely love about identity. I've got those all right here for you. The first one over here, as you can see, came from our good friend Zig Ziglar, and it was, "You cannot consistently perform in a manner which is inconsistent with the way you see yourself." The other one here from Maxwell Martz, "Our self-image strongly held essentially determines what we become. A human being always acts and feels and performs in accordance with what they imagine to be true." Now, keyword there, remember, feelings of fact, imagine to be true. That's like my wife. She imagines that she has 30 less minutes than what she actually has. This one is one that I use constantly in coaching people. "The strongest force in human personality is to remain consistent with how you define yourself." And then lastly, "Our personal truth is something we believe about ourselves when nobody is watching. Our personal truth is what we really say to ourselves when our social mask is off." So at its core, right, we've agreed that behavior will follow belief, right? Beliefs are feelings of fact. And if any one of you were to ever ask me what is a life by design, I would not tell you that it is where you live, the car you drive, how much money you have. None of that, in my opinion, is a life by design. A life by design is one where you have consciously identified and installed your own belief systems. So if you think of your belief systems as the programming of a human being, much like the software programming of a computer, a life by design is one where you have chosen your programming. It wasn't chosen for you. Now, when we talk about beliefs, I really love this idea of a creed. And a creed, if you look for the definition, is a set of beliefs or aims which guide someone's actions. Now, back in April of last year, it was end of March, beginning of April, Tony Baroni, Josh Anderson, and about 3 or 4 others of us decided that we were going to go hike in the mountains with the Navy SEAL Chad Wright. And you all remember that if you were here last year, because when we came back, we were broken and battered and we had all kinds of lessons, right? But one of them in particular is, I'll never forget when we were having trouble on our hike. And the Navy SEAL guy is like screaming at me, asking me what we're going to do. My mind is just going blank. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. But my lack of knowing what to do did not stop him from continuing to yell at me. And so we got through it. Long story short, though, we were sitting around the campfire later that night. And I said to Chad, because that was the best part, is you got to sit around the campfire and eat and ask questions. And I asked him, I said, there's got to have been a time in your military career that you found yourself in a situation that you honestly did not know what to do. You didn't know what to do. And I said, when those times came, how did you get yourself to follow through? And he took us to his creed. Now, I want to share this with you because I think it's super cool, but this is Chad's creed. And if you can't read it, I'll read it for you. It says, "In times of distress or uncertainty, there is a special breed of person ready to face any challenge and accomplish any mission. A common human with an uncommon desire to succeed. Forged by adversity, I am that person. I accept the responsibility that is bestowed upon me and understand that my chosen way of life is a privilege that I must earn every day. My loyalty to my team is beyond reproach. I will humbly serve my fellow man, always ready to defend those who are unable to defend themselves. I do not seek recognition for my actions, and I place the welfare of others before my own. I serve with honor on and off the battlefield of life. The ability to control my emotions regardless of circumstance sets me apart. Uncompromising integrity is my standard. My character and honor are steadfast. My word is my bond. I expect to lead and be led. In the absence of orders, I will take charge, lead my team, and accomplish the mission. I will lead by example in all situations. I will never quit. I persevere and thrive on adversity. My team expects me to be physically harder and mentally stronger than our opponents. If knocked down, I will get back up every time. I will draw on every remaining ounce of strength to accomplish the mission. I am never out of the fight. I demand discipline and innovation for myself. Mission success depends on me. I will constantly sharpen my skill, proficiency, and attention to detail. My training is never complete. I will train like I fight. I stand ready to bring the full spectrum of my knowledge, skill, and ability to bear in order to achieve my mission and accomplish the goals established by my team. The execution of my duties will be swift and efficient, guided by the very principles I have chosen to uphold. Execute, execute, execute. Now, the thing that I want you to understand is that this is a description of his identity, but not necessarily his actual identity, because there's always two. There's actual, who you are today, and then there's aspirational, who you intend to become. And the thing that he shared with me when I was sitting there with him, and all of us, I should say, is he said, when I found myself in those moments, I would always go back to my creed. I demand discipline and innovation from myself. And in the absence of orders, I will take charge, lead my team, and accomplish the mission. See, he had preconditioned his mind for the situations that were coming. And I don't think that we spend enough time conditioning our minds for the success that we ultimately intend to create. And so creating a creed is one of the greatest things that you can ever do. In fact, I created mine. I'm not going to read this to you, but this is it right here, the Freed Creed. I got really lucky that it just rhymed, right? And so I wrote this out, and it's a description of the person that I intend to be in this world. And what I have come to know is that anything that is worth doing is going to take many, 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 many reps in order for you to self-actualize in that space. And so once I wrote it and I got it to the point where I was like, this is done, like 95%. There might be a few things I tweak or a few sentences I add, but this is it. And then I challenged myself to read it out loud 1,000 times. And right now I'm at about 600 roughly, but I've got this completely memorized. And what's so cool is that there are moments that it pops into my head when I need it. The biggest one, the one that I hear, or that I use most often, is this one right here. I choose to induce states that allow me to make the decisions that are a reflection of the leader I intend to become. And so if my children do something, say something, or I'm in a moment that for whatever reason, I don't know what answer my client is asking me, this is the thing that rings into my head. Because the difference that makes the difference in people are decisions, and the thing that makes you make decisions, the thing that governs your decisions is the state that you're in. And so I choose to induce states that allow me to make the decisions that are a reflection of the man and leader I intend to become. And so what I want from each and every one of you is for you to experience the same thing, because this is consciously identifying and installing the most powerful belief system that you have available to you. And so what we've done is created a worksheet. Many of you have probably seen this, and I'll pop it here into the chat box for you. And so you can download this. Well, it doesn't want me to do that. I will get it for you. Give me just 1 second. Here it is. Copy. There you go. So each one of you can download this and begin the process of creating your creed. And again, it's just the description, the aspirational description of who it is that you intend to become in this world, how it is you intend to think. And so what I've come to know is, if you really want to understand the process of the people, or how to install a belief, it's right here. How to install a belief. Rituals of review and rehearsing reveal results. So reviewing the creed, saying it out loud over and over again, 1,000 times. And eventually what will happen is you'll get what I call evidence of change. Evidence of change when you look back and you go, I wanted to make this decision, but but my creed got me to make that decision. And anytime you want to know, am I truly changing? You go back and audit how many different decisions did I make over the last week. And I want to leave you with this. It comes from Think and Grow Rich, and it's a term, autosuggestion. So autosuggestion is self-suggestion. It is the agency of communication between that part of the mind where conscious thought takes place and that which serves as the seat of action for the subconscious mind. Through the dominating thoughts which one permits to remain in the conscious mind, whether these thoughts be negative or positive, is immaterial. The principle of autosuggestion voluntarily reaches the subconscious mind and influences it with these thoughts. The dominating thoughts of your mind will eventually reproduce themselves in outward physical action and gradually transform themselves into spiritual or into physical reality. So, to recap, a belief is a feeling of fact that creates your perception and personal reality. Out of all the beliefs, the most important one is how you define yourself, your identity. A creed is a guide or a set of beliefs that you can identify and install. So take the guide and create your identity. Once you have it, 95% done. Say it out loud 1,000 times and then search for evidence of change. Search for those moments that you wanted to make one decision, but because of the creed, you made another. And you hold in your hand one of the greatest powers human beings could ever possess, the ability to identify and install who it is that you intend to become. So thank you all for being here. I trust that I'll get to see you at my Free Life. I trust that I'll see you on the fourth quarter takedown. And if I don't see you there, I'll see you back here next Monday at 10 Central. Make it a great week. Bye-bye.